Good day. It's JJ MMA. Today is a glorious day to be alive because Strickland has taken the belt off of Chimaev and my dreamland has come true. So let's get into it. Recapping the card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the glorious main event, and we will talk about that later. But to start off, we're going to cap off what's been a great card, an amazing card, the best card of the year so far, probably like a 9 out of 10 card. And yeah, lots of finishes on it, lots of scraps that went to decision. We'll start off with Clayton Carpenter versus Jose Ochoa. We got this one right. We also did fantastic for picks on the card. I think we went 11-2 for picks. Disc not counting that we switched our pick to Matush Rebecki live, but yeah, we'll forget about that. Anyways, Clayton Carpenter versus Jose Ochoa. Jose Ochoa gets it done, as I predicted. I thought he would get the KO finish here. Clayton Carpenter, I mean, he looks like a guy that you knock out, but he's really tough. Clayton Carpenter, he's a tough guy. He's a jiu-jitsu guy, so I definitely thought he would get knocked out, just the way that jiu-jitsu guys have been performing recently. He had Jose Ochoa nearly in some leg locks. We didn't react to this one live, but, Jose Ochoa, he dominated Carpenter on the feet, sat him down a few times, more than one knockdown. And Jose Ochoa gets it done as we predicted. Great performance from him. I'd like to see what's up next for Jose Ochoa. He's a very entertaining fighter. Big for the flyweight division, by the way. Jose Ochoa, he's got a big frame for the flyweight division. I think he 30-27'd him pretty clearly. Only round that was close is probably, I think round 2 was a little bit close. So, yeah, great performance from Jose Ochoa. We move on to the next fight on this card. Susurkaev versus Jordan Santos. And Susurkaev, he was getting kind of pieced up in round 1 and a little bit in round 2 by Jordan Santos. He's a very good prospect in the middleweight division, but the thing about Susurkaev, what he likes to do is he likes to get these late finishes. Susurkaev, he likes to be like going very tit for tat at the start of the fight and having a very close fight, and he likes to find that submission or the big knockout late. He's gonna make you believe that you're winning early, and then he's gonna finish you. He had a close first round with whoever his first opponent was in the UFC in Chicago at UFC 319, and then he submitted his opponent round 2, and then in the Madison Square Garden card, he fought Eric McConaughey, and then Eric McConaughey had a close first couple of rounds with him, and then in round 3, eventually Susurkaev, he got the knockout, what's his name, McConaughey, as we like to call him, Khalil Squarebush, because he looks exactly like Khalil Roundtree. Anyways, yeah, he put him on really wobbly legs, made him slip, and then got the knockout there. Put him palms up on the canvas, and now Jordan Santos, he was winning the fight at the end, and then he just got a submission to top it off. So really good performance, really good finish from Susurkaev. I guess I won't say really good performance because I was a little bit underwhelmed by his performance. I am not impressed by your performance, but yeah. Anyways, great performance, not great performance. What am I talking about? Good finish by Susurkaev. He's a good prospect in the middleweight division, but he is one of these type of guys who likes to get the finish late. So, if anybody takes him to deep waters, it'll be interesting to see how he performs against a real prospect in the middleweight division, not somebody who he's kind of handed a win against. So, yeah, I want to see Susurkaev against better competition. We move on to the next fight on this card. Pat Sabatini versus William Gomis. This was a boring-ass fight, and Pat Sabatini is a boring-ass fighter. Don't let this guy get anywhere towards the rankings. I know this is empty stats right here, and probably the reason that is because everybody at the company wants to forget this fight. Because Pat Sabatini was basically just holding on to William Gomis for dear life. All the exchanges that they threw, Pat Sabatini was landing his big wrestler's overhand. The human torso himself was landing his big overhand on William Gomis a few times. But William Gomis was winning the striking exchanges. Almost every time that they were striking, William Gomis was winning the exchanges. It didn't look like he was going to have any knockout power like Diego Lopez against Pat Sabatini. However, William Gomis, I think he took a round off of Pat Sabatini probably, based on damage at least. Because Pat Sabatini, when he couldn't get the takedowns, and William Gomis did a pretty good job stuffing Pat Sabatini's takedowns, he was just holding on to William Gomis's legs. So I mean, we got this one right. I knew Pat Sabatini would win this one by decision. I didn't think he was going to submit Gomis. Gomis looks like the type of guy who's going to stuff your takedowns. So, I don't want to say good performance by Pat Sabatini because it really wasn't. It didn't show anything. If this guy gets close to the rankings, I think he'll get beat by lower level ranked guys. I think he'll get beat up by Aaron Pico pretty badly. Anybody who can't chin Aaron Pico or like doesn't have the power to chin Aaron Pico, will get beat up pretty badly. However, Pat Sabatini, don't let this guy get close to the rankings. He's super boring. Even though he's on like a 10 fight MMA win streak, don't get him close to the rankings. Please, I'm begging you, UFC. Anyways, yeah, there's Pat Sabatini. 3-0 on the card so far. We got every pick right up until the co-main event. That's crazy. We'll talk about that more later. We move on to the next fight. Roman Kopylov versus Marco Tulio. Bro, everybody was picking Marco Tulio, and I picked Roman Kopylov. I knew that this would be a Roman Kopylov masterclass, and I don't know why this says no knockdowns here, because Roman Kopylov knocked down Marco Tulio like 3 times. I'm not kidding. He knocked down Marco Tulio 3 times in this fight. Roman Kopylov, he started to chin Marco Tulio in round 2. It looked like it was going to be another inactive, no striking, no output. Roman Kopylov loses to decision from Marco Tulio, but he turned the tide in round 2. He almost got the finish at the end of the round, knocked him down badly. Didn't finish with the ground and pound, just kind of held on to him for the rest of the round for some reason. And then the start of round 3, he knocks down Marco Tulio badly. Marco Tulio's chin wasn't fully recovered from the end of the round yet. And then he knocked him down again, and then some ground and pound, and then kind of laid on top. And then at the end of the round, Marco Tulio started to rally a little more, but it wasn't enough. 29-28, you could argue went to Marco Tulio just based on round 2, because all Roman Kopylov had in that round was the knockdown. So I was scared that it was going to be a 29-28 Marco Tulio. However, we got this one right. The underdog pick here came through. Roman Kopylov got it done. Blasting the body kicks here and there. He should have went to that more because it was landing on Marco Tulio. But then when Marco Tulio started to pick up on it, Roman Kopylov started to land a straight right hand and sit down Marco Tulio. So really good performance here from Roman Kopylov. Yeah, he's back in his flow of things. And I don't know why it says only 25-23 on significant strikes here. Those are not the significant strike numbers, by the way. $1 billion company. $1 billion company making this website, by the way. But anyways, we move on to the next one. Phone's ringing. We move on to the next fight, and this is in the lightweight division, and we got this one right again. I knew this was a Jim Miller masterclass. I knew it, and we got it right. Jim Miller beats Jared Gordon via a round 1 submission. Jim Miller does it. He does it again. The Unks can't be stopped. He's 42, and they just signed him to 5 more fights. Unks still got it, and I know he just lost to Chase Hooper last year, but Unks still got it. He out-unked Jared Gordon. Great guillotine submission here from Jim Miller. Our stream glitched on live, so I wasn't able to see the whole sequence. However, yeah, we did see this guy lock up a pretty good guillotine, and he got it in on Jared Gordon. It was really, really good tight submission, and I think Jared Gordon caught a body kick from Jim Miller or something like that, and then Jim Miller immediately jumped the guillotine. Nasty submission finish here from Jim Miller. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, we picked Jim Miller here, and I knew it was a risky pick, but we got this one right. And so many other people would down Jim Miller, and I didn't. But yeah, we move on. Grant Dawson versus Mateusz Rebecki. I was thinking Mateusz Rebecki was going to win this one, and I was thinking that live because I was thinking about Grant Dawson's chin. Is he going to be able to survive a brawl with Mateusz Rebecki? And he wasn't. He wasn't like I didn't think he was going to survive the brawl with Mateusz Rebecki. And in round 2, he got knocked down badly, and it looked like Mateusz Rebecki almost had the finish, and it looked like it was just going to be Grant Dawson gets chinned again. But Grant Dawson in round 3, he puts the grappling on Mateusz Rebecki, and he gets the rear naked choke. It was a rear naked choke. It was like a weird rear naked choke where he had his arm in the front. But yeah, a great rear naked choke submission there from Grant Dawson, and he gets it done. all he could do on the feet was, throw these little like geriatric body kicks out there, but otherwise Mateusz Rebecki was kind of beating him in the feet. Round one was, Grant Dawson beat him with the grappling. Round two, Mateusz Rebecki won. He was putting the striking on him. He's starting to really find his groove. And then round three, Grant Dawson found his groove in the grappling. And then towards the end of the round, with 18 seconds left to go in the round, Grant Dawson found the submission. So really good performance from Grant Dawson. We got this one right on the predictions video. And yeah, undefeated on the card so far. Yeah, there you go. It's my breakdown for Dawson versus Rebecki. We move on to Joel Alvarez versus Yaroslav Amosov. Bro, this was a really good, really good performance from Yaroslav Amosov. You know what I'm saying? Yaroslav Amosov, this he's probably gonna be a champion. He's 32 with a 30-1 record, and he just got to the UFC and he submitted Neil Magny and Joel Alvarez both in a row. And he's already ranked. You know what I'm saying? He's already ranked number 14 in the world, and he deserves that ranking, every ounce of it. And, Joel Alvarez, he's a very tough opponent, and he was starting at the start of round two. Round one was the dominant grappling round for Yaroslav Amosov. He was sticking on Joel Alvarez like hot glue, you know what I'm saying? And then round two, Joel Alvarez started to find his groove in the strike and started to put some ones and twos on him. He was finding the left hook. He was finding his right hand. And then Yaroslav Amosov gets on the takedown, gets deep on Joel Alvarez's hips. He picks him up and slams him right into I think it was an arm triangle. Yeah, I think Yaroslav Amosov, he slammed Joel Alvarez right into an arm triangle and then jumped on the arm triangle so quickly and made Joel Alvarez tap. And yeah, Yaroslav Amosov gets the submission, a nice little dance from him at the end. He hit it was like some break dance on the canvas. Yeah, super cool stuff from Yaroslav Amosov here. Great submission from him. He's a badass fighter, and I know he's a grappler, and I mean I know the first round wasn't that entertaining, but he's a sick fighter when you can get the finish like that. So, great performance from Yaroslav Amosov. We move on to the next one. Ateba Gautier versus Ozzy Diaz. Ateba Gautier gets the knockout as we all predicted. I already had Ozzy Diaz's funeral on the prediction video, I'm pretty sure. On the live stream though, I did say my condolences to Ozzy Diaz's family before it even happened. We all knew it was going to happen. I thought it was going to be round one, but Ateba Gautier, he took some time, found the shot, and 1 minute and 10 seconds into round two, he found the overhand right, and he knocked out Ozzy Diaz cold on the canvas. Great finish and great performance from Ateba Gautier. This one was obviously going to happen. This was the outcome of the fight. Ateba Gautier calls out Israel Adesanya. It's a great call out for him, but yeah, not good for Adesanya. Adesanya is going to get chinned by Ateba Gautier. It's a very bad stylistic matchup for Adesanya at this point in his career. So, yeah, Ateba Gautier calls out Adesanya. That might be a fight to make. I'll do a fights to make video probably later today. Yeah, I'll probably put that one in there. But Ateba Gautier gets it done against Ozzy Diaz as we predicted, undefeated on the prelims. I absolutely perfect on the prelims for me. Undefeated on the prelims and predictions we were, and Ateba Gautier gets it done by knockout against Ozzy Diaz. And yeah, there you go. We move on to the main card. King Green versus Jeremy Stephens. And yeah, round one finish from King Green. I thought that maybe King Green would take Jeremy Stephens to decision and just piece him up, slow down Jeremy Stephens' power over time. And that's what he was starting to do. I thought King Green was going to get the knockout on the feet, the way that he was hurting Jeremy Stephens. But then King Green, very smart move by him to get to the grappling. Jeremy Stephens, he hasn't fought MMA in, I think, 5 years. So, Jeremy Stephens hasn't trained grappling for 5 years. He's just been doing bare knuckle boxing. I think boxing match with Jose Aldo, just like Unk Sidequest. That's what he's been doing. So a really smart move for King Green to go to the grappling. He gets the submission by, I think, rear naked choke immediately. And yeah, great performance by Bobby Green. Yeah, keep putting Bobby Green in fun fights. Jeremy Stephens. There was a moment in this fight where Jeremy Stephens did land on Bobby Green's chin, and I got a little worried for him. But yeah, I mean, Jeremy Stephens, he still has that power even at his old Unk age. But yeah, Bobby Green gets it done. He was able to neutralize the big overhand right of Jeremy Stephens. and Bobby Green gets it done. Great performance from him. And we got this one right as well. And it wasn't a hard one to get right, but yeah, there you go. We move on to the next one. Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley. This was a boring domination, and this is what I expected, regardless of the weird odd swing that we had on this fight. Sean Brady, he gets it done, and he absolutely dominated Joaquin Buckley. 30-25. Two judges had this 30-25. I think it's a little bit crazy. I could see maybe one 10-8 round for Sean Brady in this fight, but 30-25 is absolutely crazy. But Sean Brady did dominate this fight. He dominated this fight more than Kamaru Usman dominated Joaquin Buckley. He tried to damage Joaquin Buckley, mixed in some ground and pound, postured up. I know it was little strikes, and Joaquin Buckley, he was covering up. He was firing back his own shots from his back. Pause. However, Sean Brady, every time they were on the feet, Sean Brady was able to, he was able to kind of tag him with this little left hook, and then he was able to get deep on Joaquin Buckley's hips, get the takedown, run him over. And Joaquin Buckley, I don't know what the hell's going on with his grappling defense. He's been out for, I think 10 months now. 10 months, no, he's been out for 11 months, nearly a year. Joaquin Buckley's been out and working on his grappling, and he hasn't improved it one bit. He has not improved it one bit. And all that he's been working with Usman for it. He's been. You can't even tell he's been working on it. Honestly, I don't think he's been working on it. But yeah, Joaquin Buckley, I don't think he landed a single shot. No, he landed 5 significant strikes on the feet, but it didn't even look like that much. He landed 21 total strikes. Most of that were just flinging up some hammer fists from the back. But yeah, Sean Brady gets it done by a boring domination by decision. I predicted this one exactly right. And yeah, we move on to the feature prelim. Alexander Volkov versus Waldo Cortes Acosta. Volkov, I predicted this one too. Volkov by decision. I knew this would happen. Somebody in my live was asking me if they should pick Waldo, and I said no. I said no because Volkov's going to win by decision. I said that it was going to be a very similar fight to the Sergey Pavlovich fight. Volkov was mixing in leg kicks really well, though. He was beating up Waldo Cortes Acosta to the calf. That calf looks real busted up, man. But Volkov, he was mixing up his targets, going to the legs, going to the body, little 1-2s to the head, and the simple stuff was enough to beat Waldo Cortes Acosta, who was looking for that big overhand right and the big combos all the time. He was getting mad. Waldo was pointing to the canvas. He was hurt. He was hurt to the leg at the end of round 3. Volkov, he put on a masterclass against Waldo, and anybody who says Waldo won is slow in the brain. Anybody who says Waldo won is absolutely slow in the brain. You're probably brain dead. But yeah, Volkov, he pieced him up at distance. I know he had more damage on his face that was visible, but at the same time, Volkov, he mixed up his targets, and he had Waldo very frustrated, and the body language of Waldo it was more convincing that Volkov was doing more damage than than Volkov's body language. Volkov was staying confident the whole time, sticking to his game plan, hurting the leg of Waldo. Waldo didn't check a single kick from Volkov. So, yeah, I think Volkov clearly won this one, 29-28. Round 3, 30-27 is a little crazy. One of the judges had it 30-27. I think round 3 went to Waldo. He was stinging him with the bigger shots in the feet. But Volkov gets this one done by decision, as we predicted. We move on to the co-main event. This was one hell of a scrap. Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira. This is the first pick on the card that we got wrong. A little bit of a questionable stoppage, to be honest. The way that Tatsuro Taira was, he was surviving round 2's onslaught. He was surviving round 3. I think that you should have given Tatsuro Taira more time to recover. It was a 2-2 fight going into round 5. Taira clearly won rounds 1 and 4. I don't get why the ref didn't give Taira more time to recover. But anyways, the round was looking like it was going to Van. Van did a really good job in this fight. He was piecing him up with the boxing. He was getting hurt a lot with the leg kick by Tatsuro Taira. But Van was piecing him up on the feet. He had his face badly damaged in this fight. Taira, I thought Taira was going to win this by sub, but when they were on the ground, Taira was not able to get a single sub on Joshua Van. And Joshua Van had his back at one point and was looking for a rear naked choke of his own. But Taira defended it even when tired. I thought Van was gonna get the sub for a second, and that would have been nuts. That would have been a crazy tables turn moment. Um, but yeah, Van pieced him up on the feet, man. Van was, Taylor's got no head movement. Taylor was like, his head was on the center line the whole time. The only way that Taylor could get out of range of Joshua Van was just by moving back and using his footwork. His footwork was good, but he's got to learn. He's got to learn some head movement, man. Once Taylor gets that boxing defense, I'm telling you, man, Taylor is going to be good. But yeah, Taylor's still very young in his career. He's only 26. He's only going to improve from here, and I think Taylor might be a champion one day still. But yeah, great performance by Joshua Van. He dominates Tatsuro Taira. Not dominates, but dominates Tatsuro Taira in the striking. Um, I should have predicted that Van would dominate in the striking. But I thought that Taira was going to be able to land that right hand. Find his own success on the feet, but he wasn't able to do it. He was getting to Van's hips a lot. I think that Pantoja will do better against Joshua Van. I'll save that prediction for later though. And yeah, we move on to the main event. In the main event of Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland, and I'm so happy about this result. Sean Strickland's the fucking champ. Let's go. Yes, sir. Sean Strickland is the champ, and he beat Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev's no longer undefeated, and those people who say it's a robbery are absolutely smooth brain and dead in the brain. You know what I'm saying? This was not a robbery at all. Strickland clearly won rounds 2, 3, and 5. You know what I'm saying? So here, I'll break down the fight starting out with round 1. Round 1 was just a control round for Khamzat Chimaev. He had hooks on the back. He was looking for submissions, unlike the DDP fight. So round 1 was a control round, and if he did that for 5 rounds, which it looked like he was going to, I mean, who knows what my reaction would have been like on live? You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have been saying some very good things on live, to say the least. So round 2 is when Strickland started to take over. He stuffed the takedowns from Khamzat Chimaev, and it looked like he almost had him finished. Strickland had Chimaev wobbled in this round, but a lot of people didn't see it just because of how biased the commentators were. By the way, the commentators, specifically DC and Joe Rogan, were very, very biased towards Khamzat Chimaev in this fight. Like the graphics that they were showing was like advancing percentage. Like why don't you show the significant strike numbers, which were like 81 to I don't even know, like I think 81 to 20 in some of the rounds, because Strickland was just kept jabbing him up. And it was just jab, 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 and they counted the jabs as significant strikes because they were busting up Chimaev's face. But that was in the later rounds. Round 2 is when, Strickland, I think Strickland landed like a 2 on him, and it hurt Chimaev, and then Strickland landed some really good ground and pound. Chimaev pulled guard twice in this round. Chimaev pulled guard on Sean Strickland. So it looked like Chimaev was getting hurt, and especially getting hurt by the nasty ground and pound that Strickland was pouring down on him. Strickland actually spent some time on top in this round. AI has gone too far. Strickland spent time on top in this round. And I mean, look at the titles. These are the comments. These are some very biased comments. Like this guy, Diego Montes, most boring UFC title fight of the history. Not when Chimaev was laying on DDP for 5 rounds. Not that one. Not when Makhachev was laying on JDM for 5 rounds. So these brain dead ass comments need to shut the fuck up. And then this is rigged like hell. How is this shit rigged? This type of fan base, like these guys, the fan base of the Caucasus region fighters, they don't lose very often. And when they lose, it's so fun. You know what I'm saying? Fuck yeah, this picture makes me so happy. Bitch ass Chimaev on the bottom of Strickland. Oh my gosh, this looks amazing. You took DDP for me. You killed DDP. You laid on him for 5 rounds. And DDP almost finished you in the 5th round. Imagine if that went to a 6th. It would have been done. Now look at Strickland. Strickland's laying on you. How the tables have turned. Oh, I love life right now. I actually love life. Look at this. He's burying his face in. Look at his little face. I love my life right now. Oh my gosh. I'm good on dopamine for the rest of the year. I'm good on all dopamine, like whatever chemical makes me happy for the rest of the year. For the rest of the year. This this is beautiful. Like Volkanovski failed to beat Makhachev. JDM failed to beat Makhachev. Poirier failed to beat Makhachev. Um, McGregor failed to beat Habib. Gaethje failed. Poirier failed to beat Habib. Um, Oliveira failed. All these guys failed to beat the Caucasus region fighters. DDP failed against Hamzat, but not Strickland. Strickland's the one to take him down. Sean O'Malley failed against Merab. Strickland's the one to take Chimaev down. Beat him on the feet, and he he spent some time on top. This is just a beautiful image right here. And so is this. Strickland's just battering his face in. And I know, like, all the damage on Strickland's face is from his nose, because he did get his nose broken in the fight by Chimaev. However, I mean, his shots were just so much more impactful. Like, Chimaev has the swelling on the eye. Chimaev just has much more damage here. Much more damage on his face. And Strickland winning. Yes! Yes! Bruh, salivate. Like, look at these comments, man. Celebrating a fake victory. Like, shut the fuck up. Look at the account, man. Rob. Another AI account. I mean, these are just straight, like, these people don't know anything about fighting. These people don't know anything about fucking MMA. They're saying, Rob, absolute robbery. This is so set up by UFC. Didn't you bring up Amanda Nunes versus Shevchenko too? The fuck are you talking about? Like, bro, this is a much bigger fight than Nunes versus Shevchenko too. What are we talking about? But anyways, in round 2, Strickland started to take over. Round 3, they kind of were going tit for tat, like jab for jab on the feet. Hamzat did, I think in round 3, no, it was round 4. Hamzat broke Strickland's nose in round 4. He was landing that overhand a little bit, but what Strickland's really good at is making you miss. You know, Strickland's got that Philly shell kind of American style, where he makes fighters miss a lot. You know, he lifts his elbow up and shows the armpit to block shots. Outstruck him on significant strikes, 43-29. Yeah, they were going a little bit tit for tat on the feet. I knew Hamzat had good striking, but Strickland was landing the bigger shots. This is the round where he created that swelling on Chimaev's eye. Yeah, Strickland was landing the better shots in this round, and he was making Hamzat miss a lot. Like, you know, 33% to 43%, and Strickland threw 100 punches compared to Chimaev's 89. This was a very tit for tat round. This was probably the closest round that they had on the feet. Chimaev didn't shoot a single takedown in this round. Credit to him. But round 4, I think Chimaev took round 4. I'll give that one to him. Significant strikes was pretty close. He landed the better percentage of significant strikes, and he had more advancing time, right, UFC? More advancing time. 44% advancing to 6%. Whoa, like Strickland was still beating him off the back foot. So that's the most stupid fucking statistic I've ever seen. But anyways, yeah, Chimaev got the takedown here, got some good control time. More like little ground and pound strikes on the ground. Yeah, I'll give the round to Chimaev, round 4. It was still a pretty close round though. Round 5, this is the round that I think you're slow in the head if you think Chimaev won the round. You know, Strickland was landing the better shots on Chimaev. He was breaking him down with the jab, splitting his guard, 1-2, landed a good right hook at one time. He was starting to land clean on Chimaev. Chimaev, I don't know why it says Chimaev got 6 takedowns in this round. Well, oh, that's because yeah, Chimaev was kind of taking him down, and then Strickland was built back up to his base. You know, Chimaev didn't have any control time, didn't have any ground and pound, wasn't really working with anything on the ground. So Strickland just kept on getting up. I think he reversed the takedown of Chimaev too in this round, or yeah, I think he might have reversed Chimaev's takedown, but I don't know. He reversed the takedown in round 2 for sure. I don't know why it's not giving him a reversal here, because that's what this picture's from. Anyways, yeah, Strickland, you know, Strickland won round 5, I think pretty clearly. Rounds 2, 3, and 5 are pretty clear for Strickland. And yeah, the UFC is so back. Strickland's, you know, Strickland's here. He said he's gonna support Pereira at the White House. And also, you know, he said that he separated his shoulder in camp sparring Pereira on Tuesday. So, you know, this makes it even better. This makes it even better that Hamzat lost to a man who's injured. He's injured, and he had a motorcycle crash accident, I think 2 years ago, and he can't put any weight on his leg, and that's why you tried to stomp his knee, you dirty fuck. And he still won. He still beat you. Chimaev's gonna move up to light heavyweight now. He don't even want the rematch. Who's a fucking coward now? Uh, this fucking coward. Here's the fucking thing, you guys. Chimaev don't want the rematch with me. He's a fucking coward. Sucks off Kadyrov. All right, but anyways, yeah, Chimaev's gonna have. He's gonna have. He's gonna have a few fights at light heavyweight. Easier competition for him up there, as Strickland mentioned in his post-fight interview. Yeah, I think they could run like him versus Costa. I love that we're talking about. I love that we're talking about these lower ranked matchups for Khamzat Chimaev, and not oh, I guess he's gonna move up to light heavyweight and take on Olberg when he's ready. You know what I'm saying? Like Strickland's gonna be active right after he supports Pereira at the White House. He's gonna get back in there. He said, "Give me a Mavov, give me DDP, give me whoever." And you know this makes it likely that DDP is gonna get the belt back too. And if you know me, you know how much of a DDP fan I am. But you know what I'm saying? I think he also said. I think Strickland also said he had an injury in the DDP fight too, or the second fight. That's why DDP dominated so much. I don't know, but you know, whoever wins between him and DDP, and if they fight again, you know, it's cool. Like somebody else's champion besides this fucking born fucker right here. I'm so happy that Strickland's the champ. You know, we're gonna have an active champ in Strickland, and yeah, I'm so happy that he won. Yeah, I think the next fight to do for him is probably like in a Mavov. And yeah, I think he beats Amavov pretty clearly. And I mean, Amavov's actually no, I don't think. I think maybe he waits out to see the winner of Amavov DDP. Amavov needs to fight DDP just because he's been sitting out for so long. And yeah, I mean, DDP deserves the rematch with Strickland because Strickland has the belt now, and he's beat DDP, or DDP's beat him twice. So yeah, I mean, great result. I couldn't be happier with the main event. I think we went 11-2 for picks on this card, so you know, we had some major success here, and yeah, I couldn't be happier. We are so back. The UFC is so back. Next week I will be breaking down and reacting to live the MVP card, which is the Jake Paul MMA card, Ngannou and Mike Perry and Nate Diaz and all that, and Ronda Rousey. And then I will also be reacting to the UFC card, which is an Apex one, but it's got a good main event, Acosta versus Arnold Allen. That one's going to be entertaining. Like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you later. Goodbye.